and a warm welcome to a new edition of the Sappi Blue Couch series, where we talk about all the latest developments in the world of Sappi and also take a look at some of the most important trends in the paper industry. Our topic today is functional paper packaging with a focus on the importance of collaboration. And to talk about this and a whole lot more, I'm very happy to welcome two guests, beginning with Jens Torkel. He is CEO of Rovema, which most of you know as the leading international manufacturer of VFFS packaging machines. Welcome to you, Jens. Great to have you with us today.
Thank you.
And joining us from Sappi, I'm also pleased to welcome René Köhler. He is Director of Paper and Packaging Solutions.
Pleasure.
So, gentlemen, our focus today is collaboration, and of course, ultimately, a machine manufacturer and a producer of packaging and specialty papers have a common goal, right? And that goal is, of course, supporting brand owners and developing the ideal packaging solutions for their products. And I think it's no secret that these days the focus is increasingly on sustainable packaging, right? So with this growing interest in sustainability and a circular economy, I'm curious to hear how that has impacted the approach, first maybe at Sappi.
Yeah, first of all, thank you. We have seen the strong demand coming from the markets. The brand owners are striving to more sustainable packaging. The background of that is that we have seen more and more bans, regulations coming in, which drives brand owners to work on that and to try to change their incumbent packaging material structures, because these material structures are fit for purpose when it comes to protection, but not necessary for the recycling stream build. Whereof paper is the most advanced recycling stream. They are looking for sustainable packaging on one hand, but likewise to ensure that the products can be moved into circularity and be reused again. And we as Sappi see ourselves a bit as consultants, so we are supporting brand owners in advising what kind of packaging material to be used, because we notice that the current materials are sometimes over-engineered, and nobody thought about the barriers before, but now changing that to a more sustainable way, it is of course our task right now to advise in the proper way what kind of product can fit the purpose, does not been over-engineered, and makes the way towards the final recycling stream. And that's how we are working on that, and we see that overall as the sustainable way to move forward.
And of course, sustainability is also important, not just for your business, but also for the field of mechanical engineering. Jens, can you tell us about the role that sustainability plays at your company?
Yeah, certainly I can. Sustainability in today's world, where many of us talk of a VUCA world, so it's very volatile, it's uncertain. And for us, it means we have daily challenges we need to accomplish. And as Rovema, we have developed our strategy and decided that we will shift the whole company focus to become the leading supplier for sustainable packaging solutions. Why is that? We firmly believe that in today's world, with climate change, with the impact on human beings, with the resources we consume on the earth, we cannot just continue to live the way we are. And as industry leaders, we have to take responsibility and change that. What do I mean by that? For us, we want to generate 100% of our revenue, of our sales in the future with sustainable solutions only. And that is a paradigm shift, basically. And we have a strong agreement with our shareholders. Basically, we call this, we have to run our business becoming enkelfähig. Enkelfähig means for us, we have to generate a business model that makes it ready so that we can later hand it over to our grandchildren. So that's really a long-term view. And as an example, when the sustainability and circularity comes into play, one of the first steps we did is that we changed our market approach, and we are indeed going even after our old machines in the field, buying them back and actively refurbishing them. In the past, they were just purely scrapped. So the resources went without any use, and now we are kind of mixing this into our business model as well.
So you mentioned some of the mindset changes that have come through this awareness of the importance of sustainability, and I love this idea of making a business fit for the grandchildren, and I think maybe that's what's lacking a lot in our society, that people are only thinking short term, but we have to change our mindset to think more about the long term. But I want to pick up on the last thing that you mentioned, which is how you have to possibly refurbish machines. Can you talk a little bit in more detail about the impact on existing machines if increasingly brand owners need sustainable solutions? They're changing the kinds of materials that they're using. Maybe I'd like to hear about this from René as well. So what is the impact of thinking in sustainable solutions on existing machines then?
Yeah, in principle, the incumbent material as such has been optimized for decades. And just to put paper with functionality onto the machine and expect that it runs straight away, it would be nice, but it's not the case. So, and that is exactly where the collaboration comes into play. We need to adapt or need to get as well the expertise from Rovema to make that happen on behalf of the customer, to really have an optimized packaging and runnability and guarantee a good output for the products. But probably Jens can say a bit more onto that when it comes to the technical part.
Yeah, let me talk about the processability of materials. You mentioned this, that for decades there was a dominant material used, was plastic laminates, and we all read in the newspaper the problems we have with that topic. So there will be a future for plastic, but there will be a future also for significantly different materials, such as sustainable paper materials that we can use. And in the past, there was no need to run plastic laminates on a machine. Now it has changed. And when you go to a machine, there's thousands of machines installed worldwide. We cannot just throw them all out and say, now we buy all new machines, would be nice for my business model. But that's not reality. So what we're doing, we are basically cutting the machine in 4 parts that we have to look at. The first part is the product in-feed. The second part is basically the product feeding itself. Then it comes to the sealing, and the last one is the discharge and further transportation. So let me dive a little bit deeper into the product in-feed. That's very important. We basically get the material, it typically comes on a roll, and we feed this into a machine. It comes via a so-called shoulder, and there we have to make sure that we form basically the bag without any wrinkles, in a way that the appearance is perfectly met. And here paper behaves differently, so we need to look at the design of the shoulder, of the angles. There's a certain friction of the material of the paper is different than the plastic laminates we were running before. So we have to look at the shoulder, how we feed the material in. And the second critical part is the sealing of the product, because this drives in the end certain properties of the bag itself, of the product that will be in there. And here we need to really look into the design of the sealing jaws itself. So for us it means we control in our machines the temperature of the sealing, we control the pressure itself, the timing. But over the whole cycle, the main topic is that we are controlling the dwell time. That means it's a combination of time and pressure and temperature together. And that is even an award we had won before for our so-called premium seal, which is kind of important to get the right quality in the end. And for us important, when we have these new materials, we test them and we design the right sealing jaws. The profiles we design in-house based on the material. We are in constant interaction when we have such a project with, for example, Sappi in this case.
So it really is a special kind of innovation to be able to adapt existing machines to have a different kind of function, this additional processability. But that's not the end of the picture, I know. Once you have a machine that has been optimized accordingly, what else then needs to be taken into account? And I'm thinking that I guess this is where marketing has to come in. Is that right?
Absolutely. And this is, we cannot have a straightforward answer on that. It depends on the marketing requirements. But we're able to optimize surfaces of a paper, meaning from a natural appearance to a high gloss appearance. And we are able to optimize as well the reverse side, which means it's giving us the functionality, sealability, as we just heard. And this is, can go up to a really tailor-made solution finally. So marketing will decide what we need to do, and we need to engage the third party because it's very often a converter who do the printing. We are following the recommendation from the brand owners, and they would like to work with their incumbent partners, and that's what we are going to do right now. This is one part on the whole marketing. Of course, other things like testing, extensive testing, compliance issues which need to be solved because we are talking about mainly food, and all of these packaging material need to ensure that they're allowed to go in direct contact with food. So it's an important factor, and we need to make a tick behind that as well. So it's a lot of things to be done. Furthermore, the whole qualification process and transport test and so on. So it's really a lot of things which comes afterwards to really go from the idea to the launch.
All right, so I think we've been talking about a lot of ideas. I mean, this is fascinating, but it's all kind of theoretical. We've heard about what's driving brand owners. We've heard about the importance of processability and design. But could you both perhaps give us some real examples just from the real world or a real customer? Maybe Jens, you can begin?
Certainly we can do this. We can use a package that we have kind of developed together with the client, for a client. And I have a little example here. This is basically a typical package you find in a supermarket.
I buy that.
It's an oatmeal product.
Yes, yeah. I know that one.
It comes in a way in a very sustainable package format. So it's a paper version of the package. And the client basically wanted a capacity expansion for a new product range, and at the same time changing to a sustainable packaging material rather than to common other materials in place. So in this case, the collaboration between Sappi and Rovema was that we tested different paper versions. They needed to be sealable, they needed to have barriers so that the product stays accurate inside. And the client had the requirement to have a very flexible machine so that they can also run different products on the machine. So we can change this machine basically in 30 minutes from one product to the other. But important also is the design of the bag itself. So it's really a brick pack, what we call it. So when you transport it, you have really a very good package format. You can move it. You have no real waste in there. And it's a very efficient packaging design that was launched kind of together. It took basically from the ideas a year to get this into production, a little bit over a year. Of course, in this case, as it was a capacity increase, there was a new machine that had to be built. But the first phases was really intensive testing of different materials, different sealing jaws and designs on the shoulder of a machine itself.
So I think that would actually be an example of something that in the past would have probably been packaged in plastic, in another piece of plastic, than in some other possibly paper box, but with more plastic on the inside. And now you have an example of the same product that's just in a paper packaging without all of that.
And it's fully recyclable.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, is a key difference which we need to accomplish in these days.
And it's proof that progress is possible. So that's actually very, very interesting. So René, do you maybe have another example for us?
Of course. We're very happy to showcase something which was developed here in Common. We see a kind of stand-up pouch here, which was done particularly for the confectionery industry. We see that the brand owners are looking for, let's say, alternative materials, particularly in the confectionery industry. And it's a very nice bag, which is shown here. We can see how it's been, let's say, designed and run on a Rovema machine. What we incorporate here is our latest generation of the high barrier paper, because that suits the demand coming from the brand owner side. And what I understand from Jens and Rovema is as well that is one of the types which could be easily adjusted on existing machines. So gives the flexibility as Jens described before. And that's a very nice example how we can see the future moving and going ahead. And this is, can be adapted with the different surfaces as described before. And well, makes serious sense to thinking about in going this direction, yes.
I really like that both of your logos are on that packaging. That's very nice. I think it's a very nice symbol of the collaboration that isn't just theoretical, but it's actually quite practical and quite important for making your customers, which are the brand owners, able to achieve innovative solutions for their packaging needs. And also, I guess what's very important about that kind of packaging is the shape of it, that it folds on the bottom so it's more stable as well. And gentlemen, I understand this is only one example or two examples of all your collaborations. I know there's going to be another one coming up very soon that's at a trade fair. Do you want to tell us about that, where both of you will appear once again?
Yeah, happy to express that we have the next Fachpack just in front of us, and we are going to work together there. We are going to showcase this example and trying to support our customers with the right answers, question and answers on potentially open things. And so I think this strengthens once again the collaboration, and we're more than happy to gain all these inputs from the customers and try to give them the proper answer from a common perspective, because what we see here is different kind of competencies which comes together right now on the purpose of having the optimized packaging for our clients.
Yeah, there's not much I can add, but the only thing I like to say, I think the big difference to the past is we will be much faster doing the changes the world needs when we do such cooperations, instead of everybody looks just for his own topics and targets.
Jens Torkel and René Köhler, gentlemen, thank you both for sharing all of your insights with us and demonstrating just how important, how valuable collaboration is. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Our pleasure.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Sappi Blue Couch series, and we also hope that you join us again for the next one. Until then, take care, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.